Good day, everyone. Let me start with a simple question. Have you ever trusted someone to do right thing, only to be disappointed? Now imagine that person is a leader you voted for, someone you believe would serve the people honestly. But instead, they use public money for themselves, accept bribes, or favor only their allies. That feeling of betrayal, that's where our discussion begins. Today, we will talk about political corruption, not just as political or legal issue, but as a deeply human and ethical problem, because its core corruption is about choices that affect real people, communities, and real lives.
What is political corruption? Political corruption happens when those in power choose personal gain over public service. It can take many forms: bribery, vote buying, misuse of funds, favoritism, and abuse of authority. But beyond these actions, corruption breeds something more important: trust. People elect leaders believing they will serve the common good. When the trust is broken, it doesn't just damage one leader's image, it weakens the entire system and leaves citizens feeling unheard, frustrated, and powerless. And that's why corruption is not just illegal, it is morally wrong.
We don't have to look far to see the effects. In the Philippines, recent controversies surrounding the flood control projects have raised serious concerns. Despite billions of pesos allocated, devastating floods still affected many communities. Behind the numbers are real stories of families losing homes, people struggling to survive, and communities left vulnerable. This reminds us that corruption is not just all about the money, it's about lives affected and opportunities lost.
Leadership is not just about power, it's about responsibility. Ethics teaches us that leaders should act with honesty, fairness, accountability, and integrity. True leadership means putting the needs of others first, choosing the common good over the personal benefit. When leaders fail to do this, the consequences are not just political, they are deeply human, creating injustice and inequality in society.
Emmanuel can't believe that morality is about duty. He asks a powerful question: what if everyone did the same thing? If every leader were corrupt, trust would disappear, and fairness would no longer exist. So for Kant, corruption is always wrong, because leaders have a duty to do what is right, no matter the situation.
For Thomas Hobbes introduced the idea of social contract. People give up some freedom in exchange for protection in order from the government. But when leaders become corrupt and fail to protect their citizens, that agreement is broken. And when trust in authority disappears, society becomes unstable.
John Rawls focused on fairness. He imagined a society where decisions are made without knowing your status in life, rich or poor, powerful or vulnerable. In this kind of system, corruption would never be acceptable because it harms the most disadvantaged. Instead of fairness, corruption creates inequality and deepens injustice.
John Stuart Mill's utilitarianism teaches us that actions should benefit the greatest number of people. But corruption does quite the opposite. It benefits a few but harms many. Because of this, corruption fails the test of promoting overall happiness and well-being.
In healthy democracy, different voices matters, but corruption silences those voices and gives powers only to the wealthy or influential. When people lost their faith in the system, they may turn to extreme beliefs, searching for certainty and justice elsewhere. This shows how corruption doesn't just harm governance, it divides society.
Corruption is not only a political and ethical issue, it also affects how our economy works. Economic thinkers have a long warned about its danger. Adam Smith and David Ricardo believe that when systems are fair, markets function efficiently, opportunities are given based on skill, effort, and merit, but corruption breaks this balance. Instead of fairness, decisions are influenced by bribery, favoritism, and personal connection. As a result, resources are no longer given to those who truly deserve them, but to those who can manipulate the system. And when it's happened, it's not just the economy that suffers. It's ordinary people who lose opportunity they rightfully earn. On the other hand, Karl Marx offered a different perspective. Corruption doesn't just violate fairness. It takes away chances, silence potential, and widens the gap between those with power and those without. And that's why addressing corruption is not only about fixing systems, but also about restoring justice, dignity, and equal opportunity for everyone.
For effects of corruption, the effects of corruption are far-reaching. It weakens the democracy, increases poverty, and slows development. But more importantly, it creates a society where people feel disconnected, unheard, and uncertain about the future.
In the end, political corruption is not just about broken laws. It's about broken values. Ethics reminds us that leadership is a moral responsibility. A just society depends not only on strong systems, but on leaders who choose integrity, fairness, and compassion. Because real leadership is not about power, it's about serving others. And the choices leaders make today shape the future of everyone. Thank you for listening.